All right, so I do believe the mic is working this time. I think last time I screwed it up, but I did see that somebody like ran and went live as soon as I did, and then all it was silence. So that was like kind of you know strange, but anyway. Yeah, I was thinking, like I could do commentary on some of the things that have been being said and shit like that, but basically commentary on incorrect stories is, I might as well just tell the correct story. And the thing is that, wow, am I shocked at Tanger? It's like she's really into the whole bullshit stuff. Like, wow, this is not the Tanger I knew. I mean, this is somebody who I wouldn't want to know. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, I'm just so shocked that she's like talking about Simca, talking about, I mean, Howard, talking about just anybody. Hi, Simca. Can you not really hear me good? That sucks. Can you hear me any better? Is it any better at all? Damn. Hi, Nepatrish. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll take a look at it. Hey, you guys want to hear some story? Okay, so I was at a red light where there's, some homeless people that kind of, sit there with the sign, whatever. Okay. I actually was kind of facing away. So you're pretty good, Simca, there, right? Yeah, Patricia, I will absolutely read it. And I appreciate you both being here because I know that you're both very well read on topics and like history. I know that Nepatrish had that fossilized leaf in that stone, which I thought was just so incredible. Um, how even like something like a fern, like a leaf, can make an impression in stone, or something like water can move stone. I mean, it's just like, I know it sounds like, okay, probably not what most people want to hear, but I'm not ashamed of my life. Um, so when something comes out, like a story of what Sharon was doing with, the digging through the Facebook and stuff, although I think it's really sad that, that's where it goes with people, but she had the story totally wrong. I can tell the actual story of, if anybody is interested in knowing. Um, the and I was not in Rhode Island with Howard. Although if I was, I wouldn't be, like ashamed of it. Like, in actuality, like what what Sharon is saying about um me and Howard and letting her room say is no different than what Mary was allowing and saying in her room. Just a different person. That's all. It's just a different person they're saying about. So there's really no difference. And I saw, Tanger sitting there in a live stream where Sharon is sitting there saying about, Net's son. And, oh, what's that movie you're watching with the two men moaning? I mean, I'm like in shock, in shock that I don't know. I mean, I find something wrong with the fact that she's talking about somebody's kid, and how what she's even saying is, I agree, Simka. I will have to agree. So, Simka, you want to hear this about what happened when I was at that red light? It kind of convinced me more than ever that I don't know if you guys can still are you still hearing me? Okay, convinced me more than ever that, and I mean nothing by this. I'm just saying that it's been speculated that the crucifixion was to cause some kind of anti-Semitism. The weird thing is that more people talk in bullying live streams than they do in live streams where a person tries to not partake in that. So it's so weird because you're like, okay, if I'm the biggest bully on here, but yet I try to talk about other topics and stuff like that, but nobody talks back, then it's like, it seems to be so contradictory to what people actually are complaining about this community. They're saying this community is, blah, 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 but apparently it's them. But I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because I know that um, there is people in the world that are interested in normal conversation and normal things in life. And if you build it, they will come, right? I mean, it's a shame. Thank you, Nepotus. Thank you, Simka. Quality, quality, quality. And they just sit there, yeah, and right. So you want to know what he said? He said, he goes, he was like done with his day of, whatever he was doing. And he goes, good night, everybody. Stay safe. Jesus loves you. And I said, thank you. I said, too bad they crucified him. They do that with a lot of good people, right? Like in the sense of the word, like symbolically crucify people, right? You know what he said? I was blown away. He said, I know, right? Those effing Jews. Oh, I don't know who went on life support. I didn't hear anything about somebody going. I don't really watch them as much as people think. Like I heard Mary was live today because she went live exactly like when I did, but I couldn't get my audio to work. So basically, then it just became, like craziness in her live stream, but she kept saying, she's watching, but I wasn't watching. Why would I think in a million years she'd be replaying a live stream where there was no audio? You're talking about what the guy said, the homeless guy? Man, I was like, whoa, wow. He ought to wear a sign saying that he thinks that, because I bet you there's some people who are Jewish who actually, wow. I mean, wow. Like deep in his head, he's thinking that. That was really sad. I thought that was just so damn sad. So, right, now, Patricia. I mean, I was reading about Titus, and because I went into like where the, like the historical time, what was going on during the time, you know, when that was going on, and there was like this whole siege of Jerusalem. I mean, man, back then people were, I don't even understand why, what in mankind made them not think everybody should be able to be peaceful and live. And even if you go into another piece of property or another land, for people to go in there being like, let's take this land. We're going to take this away from people. We're going to taint their blankets with smallpox. We're going to, what comes into people to make them not be able to peacefully coexist? I mean, I had to think, I would be more apt to think the answer would be greed, you know? Um, I was, when I did see Mary's, silent chat, and then when they were, she was going on, I saw somebody say, now somebody who we're always nice to when they pop in here, Luna, saying, I hope this is driving SG crazy and giving her a taste of her own medicine. I would never do something like that. What's DDoS? What does that mean? DDoS? I don't know what that word means. Like MDOS. Remember when they had DOS and DOS, whatever it was? No, I didn't have a good night. I had a bad day. I even like Tuscany, even though I know she doesn't really like me, but I like her name. So even though I can't tell what's in the avatar or anything, but I like the name. So, and Luna, I mean, like I just I have a real hard time disliking, like, but I do like that. It was just, it was what it was. just a day, you know. But I don't mind telling you guys the actual story of my birth and like what happened. My mother wasn't married, cheating on her husband, as Sharon likes to put it. Um, it was, I even saw like Rourke, I mean, these people are like sick. Like, I don't even understand why Cantor would be going after Howard and stuff like that. And like, I didn't do anything to Kimberly either. Kimberly. Um, but it's okay because I do believe in quality over quantity. But it doesn't change the fact that it's hard for me to like it's not like I'll ever become the person who says, but I'm gonna, treat everybody bad so before they do it to me. Like, I'm not really a self sabotager. I'm more like, I'm not perfect. I mean, if I was perfect, I'd have already known that eventually, it's just like, well, like somebody must have gone through my Facebook, which isn't even in my name, so. And she always says she doesn't have a Facebook, so somebody, and she gets all mad like when they be digging through, whatever and whatever for her. But the thing is like that was like 10 years ago. That here's what happened. Let me just tell you, if you guys don't mind, you guys mind? I'm not ashamed of my life, and um, I didn't. I know that there's times that I feel when what is it something about the sins of the father, um and it seems like even back to the story of the Scarlet Letter, right? But I do appreciate you saying that, Patricia. I do appreciate you saying it seems like there was always this thought process that men could go around and do whatever they want at a certain time. Now remember that was Massachusetts. That was what Nathaniel Hawthorne, right? The Scarlet Letter, and that's in Massachusetts, and that's where I was born. So I feel like my mother did, I don't, like confusing to me, but like my father, or love him actually. I mean, I know that when he died, um, when she told me about it, she was crying, which struck me as weird. And then another time when for some reason he was there somewhere, and my mother became like flirty, giggly kind of like, which was weird to me, you know. Um, let's just say I didn't see what she saw in him. You know what I mean? But of course I wouldn't. But uh, now for me, Michael Landon was always my perfect father. Like for what I didn't have, like a consistent address, I would replace it. I had a vivid imagination, as did my mother. Like she could tell bedtime stories right off the top of her head and stuff, and continue it every night. And I didn't care for the way Sharon like referred to my mother. Oh, I think she got pregnant with her when she was cheating on her husband. Fucking shut the fuck up, lady, man. Why the fuck are you even talking about me? I mean, here's the thing though. the way of the digging and that kind of stuff, that really makes me think that wow, I mean, how much was she really behind in a lot of stuff? Yeah, Charles Ingalls. I do come from an affair. My father was having an affair on his wife, and I think my mother, like lots of women, it's not a rumor. It's true. And but at the end of the day, that was his style. And like a lot of women who think, somebody's gonna love them and whatever the heck maybe. I mean, I don't know. I was just a little kid, so if it didn't, become what my mother wanted it to become, then I don't know why this guy keeps saying that kind of stuff. It's so weird to say that. This guy, that's the second time he's come in here, and I banned him, so I don't know how he's even back again. Another, another account. Like, um, we don't know. He may have even told her that. Who knows? But at the end of the day, uh, in Massachusetts, there's no, well, on my mother's side, the ones I grew up with did, yeah. But on his side, I was a dirty little secret, you know what I mean? But not really, because um, my mother told me that she one time went, and I don't care. I'll tell you guys, I'm not ashamed of my life. I was a baby. I had nothing to do with that. I mean, they're gonna sit there and they want to put down a deceased woman and a deceased man, and because they're so dead set on proving that they have no boundaries and sharing, you're becoming the absolute culprit. I mean, you're going to sit there and cry about how badly you're bullied. Why start coming at me for no reason? Tanger, you're so triggered and upset and sensitive about these topics, and yet look at yourself right now. You became what I thought you stood against, and it's very disappointing. So for you to say that Simca is disappointing to you, wow, Sandra, that's a stretch. That's a real stretch right there. Because you and Simca were not established as much as friends or developed a friendship and trust like you and I did, but you had no problem doing what you did. So for you to be passing judgment of being disappointing is, I'm blown away. You're sitting in a live stream with people. Then they Simca went and was begging for Mary's forgiveness. I would really find it hard to believe. Um, I really don't believe that in the least. I think what they like to do sometimes is they will clone people. Sharon is apparently not above anything. I mean, let's think about this. Hippie Chick, one of the most um, openly organized trollers in the community, is her bestie. You know what I mean? It's one of her besties. So whatever. That's the case. Is the case. So I don't know if you guys are still here with me or if I'm boring you by telling you guys the story. If so, I don't have to. I mean, um, but it's not breaking news. It's just somebody being nosy and digging in something that wasn't their business, that now wants to twist it to their own narrative, because they basically, even though they keep running with this, oh, everybody's talking about SV, I'm the most talented. Thank you, Cynthia. Um, but yet you're creating content based on lines and spending a lot of time doing it, which is kind of sad for you. So those are really the only words I have. As for the story that you think you're breaking, I'll gladly speak of, my life, I mean, so when I was born in Massachusetts, it's a Commonwealth. There are no laws for illegitimate children in the state of Massachusetts. And so basically, my mother, they asked the birth certificate her name and then the father's name. And she says it had two different names. So the lady said, now I'm not the only person this has ever happened to, mind you. So the lady says, uh, oh, you aren't married, though. Thank you, Neptune. And now, mind you, I'm just a baby, so this is all just relayed to me from my mom, you know? And, yeah, it is. It's childish gossip, but it is my truth. It is my truth. And that, if when they bring it up, it almost makes me feel like, oh, good. Now I can talk about things that maybe others will relate to or find interesting. Things that I would, not speak of uh, because I know they do things like that. No boundaries and want to twist it and turn it. But hey, that's my tale. That's my life story. So I'm not ashamed of it. It's life. So anyway, so the nurse said to my mother she'd have to put bastard because there was, because I think the reason why my mother told me this too is because I asked about why my birth certificate had, her, even though they were divorced, but her ex-husband, all my siblings' father's name on my birth certificate, even though they'd been apart for years. And she told me because they were going to put bastard. Now, I know, and we can watch clearly and let it be indicative to people who have a moral compass and decent, good behavior and were raised properly when reading comments, further from this time or hearing things, they'll run with, they were going to put bastard. I was a baby. You know what I mean? So, yeah, crazy, right, Simca? In the Commonwealth of Mass. Thank you, Ashley. Um, Cindy, I did take a look at your live stream, and I could do commentary on it. I could. I was in shock when you and your whole live stream were laughing about me wearing a beanie on my head during cancer and chemotherapy, and I was bald, and you were laughing, and Obama was in there, and hippie, and and you were laughing. That was just a couple of days ago, Cindy. You're a hairdresser, and you were laughing about a woman who had lost her hair due to chemotherapy fighting breast cancer. You also said your mother had a bout with it. Exactly, Simcha. And along the way, yes, Ashley, I do. And I appreciate the way you put it, Ashley, because for a long time I thought of it in a different way. Like, I don't know, I don't know, I didn't like think of it as I reminded her of a man she loved that didn't love her back. Now, um, that's why when you'll hear them all make, because I had told prudently on the phone, but I think I might have even made the story, but I had told her, my mom when I was like 5 years old, and I don't, and I want to say, I want to, give my mom credit where it's due. Like, she did grow up during World War II, where you had to go to bomb shelters and come out and see what was left of your town, and I'm sure there was PT, PTSD going on there, like living through bombings. She grew up in, England and right near the Air Force Base and stuff. And so I remember her telling me stories of the GIs with the little kids, because she was a little kid. I mean, it went on for a long time. And got any gum on you, chum? Got any gum, chum? That's what I said. Got any gum, chum? And about when they started going to dances, putting the nylon, but it wasn't nylons, it was makeup on your legs to look like nylon, because of the rations and everything. So, I know, but at a young age, like at 5 and stuff, and he was, Ashley, um, he was, he was not a good person. That's why he was not a good person. He was not a good person. And my mother told me that, one time she went and she brought, I was a baby, and brought me to his house. And his wife answered the door, and she said, "This is your husband's baby." And she said, "Do you think that shocks me?" She said, "Mrs. Blank, my mom's last name, I could tell you stories about my husband that would make your toes curl." And she stayed with him to the day he died, that woman. She didn't care. They didn't care. So you want to hear about my brother, okay? Um, yep, that's where I'm gonna go. Yep, that's where I'm going right now, Ashley. I just saw your, yeah, your. Uh, so my father had two sons, okay? He was much older than me. They were much older than me. I'm saying I was, like, um, my father was a pioneer in the field of cryogenics with tooling, and came from the family that invented less oil. So, knowing my bloodline, I shouldn't even be worried about money. But because of there's no laws for illegitimate children in the state of Massachusetts, and my mom just didn't have the money to fight his attorney, I Chosen One Community and Monkey Bitch Boy, I think are the same person, but fine. So, um, my father had two sons and owned a business. One of them didn't want, that's the one that my mother used to always say I look the most like, because my mother was blonde haired and blue eyes, and I'm the tallest one in my family, you know, on this side, not, as men, on that side, but on this one. I could have, Ashley, but at the time, they'd want something where he actually stated that he was my father and like DNA, but at that time, I think I was like 21 years old. All right, listen, secular, if you're going to keep coming in here with all these accounts, I'm just going to have simply just block them. If you're going to just keep doing that, seriously, I'm not having that shit. It's ridiculous shit. Um, so, just gotta throw the track there. No, it's not a biggie. But in Massachusetts, back then, trust and believe. I'll tell you a story in a minute. But so, when I was like 21, when he died, um, I didn't want, I didn't, like I was too proud, like, to even go that route, and also didn't want to hurt any families that they had just lost their, yeah, right, some guy didn't have my, and I wasn't about like hurt, like walking into a funeral or any of that shit. But it was like maybe a year or two later, I remember, oh, you could, yeah, the business is still around. Okay, that's fine, secular. Jesus Christ, man. The fuck? You just come around to the channels just to fuck around? I mean, you can't just talk in a normal fucking manner, secular. God dang. Just don't have it in me for this shit. Yeah, I'm not even like trying to be a bitch or anything, but nobody's doing anything, harming anybody here. We're just talking. It's just that I don't need, you know. Yeah, I did. I did. So he had two sons, and the one wanted to, I guess, like he didn't want to inherit the business. Yes, he does though still have that. So if you want, you can actually email me if you'd like. It's bossypants68@gmail.com. All of yeah, I think that I know, and it sucks, Ashley, to sit like and just know that that side of the family is like totally taken care of, and he never had to fucking pay a dime for his gift. Is it too low now? I can't do anything like with it because man, I mean like like me, I just like straight out like what goes on in my life, but then everything I say they like take and they make fun of, and I so the phone I'm using, and then I just by accident I sent somebody my my other number, which hopefully I'll get that going again sometime, but I definitely won't be able to do the things like that I probably used to do as much because the other day I actually was like picking up my prescription, which I have to take every day, and the person like by accident like didn't know that there was like I had insurance, and they were like for the one bottle $181 for the month supply, and I mean like they got I have insurance, but I know that these people do understand about life things, but because it's me, they're like Mary with the playing the live, they're doing that. So even if I made something members only, it's a null and void point. You know what I mean? Like she's already putting my. I could get her struck. I could do that. It just seems like so much work to me. Like to have to go leave my live stream and make sure it's all. I mean, she plays it like minute to minute, like exactly. She breaks terms of service, but doesn't care about her channel. Like, and that's what it is. What it is. I mean, it's like whatever floats her boat. You know what I'm saying? But this phone here just got so hot. I'm like, I was like, oh my god, like wow. So it's a different phone now, and it's like they come out with the latest things, and they get uh, so hot. I mean, if somebody had this shit next to their head or something, man, they'd be cooking their own brain. So I don't know if you guys are still with me, if you can still hear me or anything like that. I was just gonna go into my father's son and tell you a little bit about that. I'll tell you the whole, my I'd write a book on my life story. Is it still bad right now? Is it bad now? This is a totally different phone now, Simka. I was really surprised that Sandra Lee, that comes in here, we really like her a lot. And I saw her in Mary was live, and she was like, SG wanted to go live, but Mary said no, no, no. I was surprised, like, but she can go wherever she wants and still be here. That's fine. But maybe it wasn't even her. Maybe it was a clone. No, it wasn't plugged in. I plugged it in because I thought it was dying, but it's actually cooling down now that it's plugged in. Isn't that weird? Fucking weird, man. Ah, this phone is a different phone and it got hot too, just like the other one. And that's what like shut it down. But the other phone, when it gets hot, it shuts down. Yeah, man. It's like, whoa. Two phones that get that hot? Now, according to them all, the demons, the pit of vipers, would say, God's telling her something, her phone's hot. It's like, no, he's not. It's just a hot phone. But I will say, I was kind of like hurt by, seeing in Cindy Infinity a hairdresser that was talking about, losing her hair and women who have premature balding and stuff and how women feel about their hair, laughing that I had to wear a beanie. They were laughing. I mean, just the other day. Like, oh my God, does she know, like, how scared I was? Does she know how scared I still am? And it's a funny thing for them? Then she said I was jealous of Bama's daughter. That's so mean. But Cindy Infinity, Bama, all of them basically. Karen F, like what the, wow. And, but that's okay. They can continue on. They'll carry on. Because their life, their own life stories must be, I don't know. I don't even know, either too boring or too tragic or whatever the case may be. But they can bring up my stuff, and um, I'm happy to share my life. I don't find it that boring. Hi, Mandy. I mean, it's not, like glamorous life or nothing. But so I'll get back to where my father had two sons, and one decided he'd become a state trooper in Texas. Well, back in, I want to say early 80s, I want to say like 80 or somewhere around there, that there was a heat wave, really bad heat wave in Texas. And people, like were dying and stuff. And he was a state trooper that was taking radar on the side of the road with his air conditioning running. And he died. There was carbon monoxide leaking into it. He died. And so my father had the other son, right? So when my sister passed away when I was 16, I decided, oh my God, Mandy, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You know what they say, when you get over the hill, you pick up speed, right? So I would do a birthday stream for you, but man, I just don't. These people are like so aggressive in their desire to eradicate me that even music is an issue for them. But happy birthday! I hope you had a great cake. England has great cake. Anyway, I don't think any of us feel old. I would hope not. So when I was 16 and my sister passed away, I thought I'd see if, I don't know, I just wanted to know my brother. I always wanted to know them anyway, what I'm saying? So I looked him up. This is before the internet, mind you. This was like in 1984, I'd say. Um, and went to his house. Oh, that's awesome, Mandy. Blessing. Birthday blessings. Did you get anything good for gifts? I went to his house and knocked on the door, and um, now the only time I had ever spoken to him before was when my father had died. Maybe 2 years later, oh no, wait, not before, because I was no. So my father was still alive then. My father was still alive then. That's right. He was still alive then. I wonder what he thought. Wonder if my brother told him this happened. Huh. I wonder. It is wonderful. That's a blessing. You guys gonna go somewhere for dinner, or you cooking? What are you cooking? God, I miss English food. Don't get me started on English food, Andy. Don't forget though. Remember you're a womble, Andy. Mandy is my fellow womble. Man, I remember going to see them in concert, and it was just people dressed up in outfits, but just like all the other 6 year olds, we were all so excited to see the Wombles. They could probably do like 5 concerts in different cities a day at the same time because they were just in costumes. But I just remember like my sister taking me, and all the 6 year olds so excited in this backyard of this, I don't know, center, and having juice and stuff to drink. And then they came on, and we were all like, "Have you ever saw like 6 year olds like rocking out? Remember, you're a wombo. Remember. I gotta bring that up to my sister. I do. I really do. These people in this community, they are dying to make people think that my whole family hated me. Oh my God, that's awesome. 3 strong generations of women there. What are you going to eat, Andy? I'm back to the food. What are you going to eat? Who are you going to eat? I want to know what you're going to eat. Let's talk food. Let's talk food. Yep, coward. Didn't we have a good time at the ocean? Didn't you like the sex? I'm just kidding. There was no sex. I can't even. I didn't. He wasn't even. He wasn't even at the ocean. Uh, as if I've ever made any videos of like Irv and zooming in on him and stuff like that, and trying to his job and where he lives and all that shit. I was only kidding, coward. I was just kidding around because of Sharon. Oh yeah, they were saying you flew in to see me. You flew in from Connecticut. You flew in. You flew in, and boy, were his arms tired. It was kind of funny because my last live stream where I couldn't get the audio work right. But Mary Mary, went live right away, but it was just silent. Um, so I figured I'd just go live and we'd play SG because who doesn't like a little comedy and entertainment? And I'm like, and then when there was nothing, no audio, it was like, I guess I'll end it. So, what better way to tell somebody their content is better than yours by playing theirs? You know what I'm saying? And then just ending your live stream like, oh, I got nothing else to say, I guess. Like, how about Mary, you tell us about your life? Like, I wouldn't judge you on your life. Or how about, you know, I mean, all right, some of them have told us about their lives. How about not including crotch cutting, swimsuit, cattle prodding, you know? How about without any of that? You know? No, I mean, like, I get it. Okay, well, I really don't, because I'm not a violent person. What time is it there, Mandy? I think it's so sad that Mary has the name of my favorite gospel group, Mary Mary, and is not reflective of them at all. That's why I liked her. Like, not why I liked her, but it attracted me. She'd have a nice voice and stuff, like singing voice. And oh, I didn't know any of that. I thought she was using me for content. 400 the Giant. I saw him live before. Yes, I used to like WWF. So, would you guys like me to continue? Oh, 3:45 a.m. Wow. It's only 10:45 here. Remember you're a wombo. You guys want to hear what happened when I knocked on the door of my brother when I was 16? So I had never talked to him before. The only time after that I talked to him. No, never talked to him again on the. Well, listen, I'll go over it all. Anyway, for the first time ever, I saw my brother, my father's son. I mean, they're all talking about Colin, and Colin is. I mean, like, it's like, go ahead, go ahead, tell him what a shitty brother he is. Yeah, there were two boys that my father had with his wife. The one died in, like, I think, I want to say 79, 80. Um, Taking radar on the side of the road as a state trooper in Texas, and carbon monoxide was leaking in. And then I could be wrong on that year. So I could be wrong on the year. I mean, I know that it was before my sister passed away. So after my sister passed away, but before I went to England, like I said, I thought, okay, well, his brother passed away, my sister passed away, and maybe he would be, welcoming to me. So knocked on the door, and his wife answered, and I said, I asked if he was there, and she said yes, and asked who I was, and I said, I'm his sister, and she said, my husband doesn't have any sisters, and I said, he does, and can I speak to it? So she said, okay. So she shut the door, and it was one of those doors with a glass on the front, and like a curtain, but glass. And I could see this really massive, tall, bulky shadow coming. Looked just like my dad. He was, you know, just like my dad. Big, big guy. And he opens the door and says, and I don't mean like big muscle. And he opens the door and says, he doesn't say, "Who are you?" or anything. He says, "Why are you here?" And I said, "Because I just wanted to see you." And he said, "Well, you saw." And shut the door. Now, see, I'm okay with that, you know. Now, I know that Carrie Mann and others will run around going, her family didn't want her. Well, my family did want me. But the side of the family that thought, oh, shit, we might have to share some kind of inheritance with this bitch. You know what I mean? And, you know, whatever the hell. Like, he obviously knew who I was. He was, like, in high school, I think, when I was born. So, but at the end of the day, I was better off not having him in my life because, yeah, you know. Now that was my brother. Okay, so then so then when I was about 21, my father passed away, and I didn't want to show up at the funeral. And I'm not that type of person, you know, whatever. But maybe like 2 years later, I started wondering, like, did this guy even ever think about me or anything? So I did end up getting a hold of my brother, and I said, look, I'm not trying to bother you or anything, but, you know, before he died, did he ever even mention me? And he said, no. So, okay, fine. So, no. Okay. So then, um, years and years and years, are you talking about current? Is that who you're talking about, Ashley? No. You know, that, and this is like how you can, like, I mean, people, wow, just, you know, they blow you away. That clone appeared. That that's my deceased father's deceased wife. That's the woman who told my mother she could make her Toast Girl, tell her stories that would make her Toast Girl. Now, the only person that I had ever told that I was actually talking to when something came up was Tina Elaine. Isn't that fucked up? And right after that is when that particular troll started appearing. Right after Tina Elaine stopped talking to me, and then that particular troll started to appear. Ain't that some fucked up shit? Like, you think, like, wow, I mean, I had a lot of respect for her and for Tina, I didn't know, Karim, but yeah, I mean, it's just so fucked up that one person knows something, so you can pretty much narrow it down to one person. So Tina Elaine partook in that, and that's a fact. That is a fact. Actually, Ashley, no. I thought you were talking about Corinne. All the family, every family member that I have pretty much basically has been cloned. No, Carol and my sister is my sister. Yeah. Yeah, basically all my, I thought you were talking about a different person. But yeah, no, Carol, yeah, that's my sister. Yeah. Yeah, they've all, I mean, the bottom line is like, now I'm like, with the Quran and knowing like that I was talking to Christina and then, so that would be the only person who would have known that name. But with the rest of it, it's so fucked up because I know that a lot of them seem to like to dig through Facebook. And no, married. She's married. Yeah, she's married. But she is from another father. Oh yeah, from another father. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely from another father. Yeah, yeah. They all have the same father. I'm the only one with a different father. Yeah, a lot of them know. They're look at Munchie that they allow. You know what I mean? Like, they all, a lot of them know. Jules allowed it. Um, the ones of my daughter, my deceased sister. Um, yeah. Um, I saw a couple come in. I usually don't say anything. Like I usually won't point it out if they come in here. I'll just like get rid of. Um, you know, I mean, he was nice to me, but you know, I wasn't his daughter. And I know what a horrible picture too, Ashley. And that they're taken because of the Munchausen thing too, the name, and none of them have a problem with it. It's like what the fuck. But if you know, it's like, wow, look at how much shit I get for having you in here. Or they harass Simca, they harass Howard, they harass regular people, Um, and yet, you know, it's like, it's not, yeah, I know, right? Damn, I was like, sure that. Do you guys want to hear the story of what that Facebook posting is about? That, I'm pretty certain that Sharon's channel, the other one there that she's, using now to harass me, or I don't know. I don't know if I'm like boring you guys with these tales. I know that it's like food, fodder for fodder for fools over there in their, their realm of thinking. But for me, I'd like to clear up, that post that was, it's something that, although sometimes people don't realize that things do kind of stick with them and affect them as they grow up and and get older. It does. It does affect me. Like, not like it destroys my life or anything. Like I said, it's better to have not had him in my life. But um, when you have siblings, like my brother, the one that told me, oh, what you saw. And so he has a band. Like, I understand that. I guess, like, Sharon's story of it was, let's see if I can look over. Incorrect, absolutely. Uh, but um, what happened was that years and years later, when then Facebook and the internet all comes around, I see his Facebook and send a friend request. Okay, so he accepts it. Now I was like, wow, I was so blown away. I was like, wow, that's awesome. I mean, like, wow, that's awesome. He accepted my friend request, and um, So I sent him a message through Facebook Messenger saying, I understand that it's a difficult situation for us and blah, blah, blah. Of course, I just, like told him a little bit about myself, about my daughter, and I liked that he liked music and stuff. And then took a little bit for him to reply. But when he did reply, he wasn't quite as excited as, like, it wasn't like how I thought. It was, more like, although he could understand how it would be, I can't think of the word he said, intriguing or something for me to, you know about my family or whatever, that he didn't think that was a good path to go down. And as he wishes me success and health and good luck in the future. But, you know, that. So, I guess I was just thinking that if I know that if, say, any of his kids ever needed like a transfusion or something, and I often wondered to myself, I wonder if they're so adamant about not wanting to acknowledge me. But what if the doctor said, look, is there any other family member? Is there any other family member that you know of that might be a match to save, your grandkid's life? I wonder if I'd do it if they asked. Of course I would. But I wonder if he'd be more apt to say, no, there isn't, as opposed to saving his grandkid's life. I always kind of wondered if that scenario ever played out, that they needed me for something like to save somebody, if they'd all of a sudden then acknowledge me. And although I do it because fuck them. I do it. That's who I am. There's no way I'd have it in me to say no. I wouldn't have it in me. And then I'd probably end up like, once again be forgotten about or not invited to family picnics. Who fucking knows, right? And just like with situations where I'll go and I'll look at Tanders and I'm like, wow, she's sitting in there, Mr. Rourke is saying I have herpes, um, all kinds of shit. And Tander's just like, wow, like as if that was always her character. And I just didn't see it. I'm like, that's one mean motherfucker. And she used to say, Sharon's room is so mean. And I'm like, whoa, but now she's right in there putting peanut emojis and everything. And I'm blown away. And I'm like looking at Piercy Crosby, who I've always been nice to, and they were nice to me, talking so much shit about me. I'm like, damn, man, do you even have your own mind? Like, what is wrong with these people? Did they get possessed? I can't understand that. It's so weird for me. I know, actually. And she's right along with them. And while Sharon is sitting there acting like Net son is watching male porn and making moaning sounds, she's right in there. She is a bully too. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you there, Colin. Yeah, that is her bad decision. Yeah. I'm not gonna call her a bad decision as a friend. I mean, we had some good conversations. I'm just, it's really hard for me to wrap my head around. Not only that, neither does belief in God. I mean, like, she can't stomach it if I talk about God, and puts me like between a rock and a hard place. Oh, I'm leaving, and then, but it, is what it is. But not necessarily. Not necessarily. There is people who can, who love with their, and I mean, yeah, everyone is suffering something. Like, it's unfortunate that um that they use mine for their entertainment. Since I don't use theirs for entertainment, you know, she thinks she's proving that I dox people by her going through my Facebook and talking about my story. I didn't dox him. None of your fucking business, Sharon, man. You know? You sitting there talking about cowards like you fucking know him at all. They're psychos. So disappointing to know that Tandra was never whom she appeared. I guess I don't know. Like, so weird to me. Sharon's channel in its entirety is bullying, and I don't think anybody else has been much different. I mean, Amy, Mary's. Um, I haven't watched Bobble's latest ones at all. Um, E-Beggar seems to be bullying. Net even, but they're all acting like they're against bullying and acting like as if I'm the biggest bully going, which is so so incorrect. Wow, infinity. I wonder, like, if those women that you are doing hair dry, their hair. Um, she said that. Like, she said that. That is true. Well, everybody was going around saying that anyway. That's why I don't even open up things with people, buy me something or whatever, because these people are, you know, they're psychos. They're psychos. That is what happens to us. Because the bottom line is, coward, if somebody came and attacked your family and you fucking picked up an axe and chopped them to fucking pieces, I'd agree with you. It does matter what happens. Absolutely does matter. It does. You can't always expect the stoic person to turn the other cheek, because then people are just only human. I mean, they're only human. People they become stoic by maintaining their integrity and their credibility and their moral compass, you know. So it's like, if somebody was like, well, even though they did this, I'm gonna be stoic and I'm not gonna do it back. Fuck. I mean, I'm not doing it back. It depends on what you can do, what your self inside is comfortable with. See, I'm not even comfortable with bashing Tanger or digging through anybody's face. I'm not, and that's where they think they win because they have double standards. Where I think, what do you win, Mr. Rourke? People who are followers. I mean, at the end of the day, they don't even say. Sharon has to make up lies to have content. That's pathetic. Mary has to play my lies to have content. Okay. All right. But then what if they take a swing at your gut side and then they've hit you twice? Isn't there a time, Patricia, when even if you turn the other cheek and then they hit that one too, then what? Give them the next part of your body? I'm just asking because it's an interesting way that you put it, and I can understand that. But what if they keep swinging and the other person just keeps, you know, hit this side too? Then you can hit this side too. Doesn't it mean that eventually that person ends up beat down? But they eventually had to hit them back, right? I mean, so it doesn't mean to not hit them back. It just means you'll block the side that's injured and come at them with the good side. Now you're prepared for them. Like that. The only thing is, too, sometimes they're not even worthy opponents. Excuse me. It's like I could let them come at me over and over again, and it's like, it's the same. It's like they keep hitting the same spot, and it's like, been there, done that, you know. But you'd still fight, right? Yeah, okay. Secular or whoever does that and makes those accounts up, they gotta be real fucking bored, man. And I just keep saying it's secular, but because he's just like that, but and that's his bad to be thought of to be that way. And my dad is, it's not you, and I'm saying it is, but they're not even like good. They're just silly. Yeah, it's silly, right? Woman with dirty feet. Facebook was banned, and their comment. Oh, I banned them. I thought he was saying that. My bad. I don't even know what he said. Woman with dirty feet. Facebook page. Women with dirty feet. Facebook page. What does that even mean? This motherfucker must look down at the ground all the time, like the secular must, and not realize that his own fucking like what do they call it, fetish makes him walk with his head to the ground, like he can't keep eye contact with people, and you know. I really don't even think that there's women out there that would be like, oh, he's looking at my feet. I think instead they'd think, this motherfucker is he's too timid for me. He just keeps staring at the ground, and he's just ugh. And they don't know that you're like even double yuck because you're staring at their feet, and then they gotta wonder like how many toes he's sucked. Like ugh. That's my opinion. But if I do have a mod, you can like block any account that you think might be. Absolutely. Bad person when they have like, hi, missing latte. Okay. I know if people don't get notifications, make sure to hit the bell twice. You gotta hit the bell twice. I hope Hidden Blessings is doing well. You know, and Day Day and Lapchick and Chelsea. I heard not Chandler, Sharon talking about her. She went through everybody. You did, Patricia? Kenny Gross, though, huh? But what kind of a? He says chosen one community women act like teenagers, and yet does he realize like that's what he's doing is you know uh-oh, I just blocked Howard Strikes Back by accident. I didn't even mean to. entire roller derby not tween, 2019 roller derby. Oh my god. I could never be in a roller derby, MC. I'm too delicate. I'm too delicate. No, for real. Break bones and shit. One time I thought somebody said that they worked as a roller derby queen, but as it turned out, said they worked at Dairy Queen. For months, I thought she was a roller derby when she was younger. I was impressed. Dairy Queen's impressive. No, not really. I mean, their ice cream is, but not much their burger size. I mean, although they do have cheese curds. I turned the other cheek, turned the key in the ignition himself. My friend one time, he said, because this guy he knew could kick his ass was like, and he runs out, he gets in his car, and as he's driving away, he goes, and next time I'm kicking your ass. Even though he knew, like, the guy, if he caught him, he would have kicked his ass. He said, Tracy, it was so funny. I get in my car and I fucking tear out of there and then shake my fist out the window. And next time I'm kicking your ass. He was really funny like that. Oh, God. We were watching Law and Order one time. And so finally, like, I get to sit down to watch it. And I'm like, okay, so what's going on? And he goes, crime. I know, you had to be there. Oh, definitely. I mean, it was a whole team. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad to see you in Africa. I always liked you. Pretty neat about that stone that your husband found, huh, Nepatrish? With that fossil in it? That fern? Wow. I mean, that had to be there from, like, ages for it to make an imprint in a stone like that. I did, Nepatrish. And I responded too. Uh, and I have to actually look at this phone to figure out the phone number for that phone. And I don't really know my number. You know what, Nepatrish? I'm going to say something right now, only because it would be a perfect joke, but it's not on you. But if in the future anybody ever wants to use this, and anybody ever says he's really good at finding fossils, you could say, well, obviously he married you, didn't he? But Nepatrish, I'm kidding. I'm, my mind always thinks about like something like that could make something like come out funny. Even though I love history and stuff, and I don't even want you to like storm out of here, but I myself, I really did. I tried to like fight the urge, and I had to give a whole explanation. Now it went down from 30 to 29, so I'm hoping that the good, thank you, thank you, thank you. I did notice that there's only 7 thumbs up. You guys, come on now. Thumbs up are free, or you could subscribe, or you could super sticker, super chat, or you could donate to a weed fund. Weed fund. Just because people like it better when, hey, they're all suggestions. They're not like mandatory. Oh, they weren't like in your yard? They wasn't in your yard, that picture? Were you guys like at a place, like a fossil farm? Fossil farm. I don't even know if there's such a thing as a fossil farm. I don't know why. I don't know what my phone number is. Why? Really? And it amazes me when I'll be watching some show where they're they find some tomb and like it's questionable. Oh, this tomb could be from the biblical days. We have 3 days to excavate it, or they're gonna bury it over. It's like bury it over. 3 days to excavate it. Like what the fuck? Oh, so interesting. That's a trash. Wow. Wouldn't it be cool if you could hold it in your hand and see the time, but not really be there because you wouldn't want to. If there was like dinosaurs or something, or there was a horrible thing going on. But the tales it could tell. I think that's my phone number. I'm gonna type it in there. Hold on. Nice. StreamYarding time. But my live stream is running so smoothly. Obviously, working on my StreamYard ability. I keep hitting the wrong button, which was the right button before, but now it's the wrong button. And they say that quite a bit, don't they? So many times. And you know what? Very discouraging that God does not come and smite people like he used to. Remember the good old days? When they'd be struck by lightning or turned to pillars of salt. And I'm serious. People can put me down for thinking that. But there was a time, I believe, that people witnessed marathons like that. So they say. Like, and here's the thing. If people would turn to pillars of salt, would there have been evidence of that? Like, could that be why in where they, feel that they found Sodom and Gomorrah because they found sulfur balls there and they did find man-made structures, but that nothing grows there? I do believe that eventually salt would, I mean, there's probably rain there at times, right? In the desert even. Over like thousands of years, right? Would be, probably would get evaporated. Or would it be able, would somebody be able to find somebody who was turned to a pillar of salt? Um, and if they were not, and the people who turned to pillars of salt did evaporate or melt or whatever, would that make sense? That would make sense, I think, that nothing would grow there because then it would be salted. The earth would be salted. But wouldn't one of the ways to prove that that was also, like, wouldn't they find salt as well? Like, if they were going to look to prove Sodom and Gomorrah, what about the people that were turned to pillars of salt? I'm just wondering, was there ever any evidence of that being found? And I'm just thinking that now. It's not like I've always like doubted it because I was thinking this. I'm not doubting it. I'm questioning. I'm like, just talking about something that's going through my head right now. If we were talking about archaeology and stuff like that. Now, Patricia, what did you want to be when you grew older? Since you said Mr. Knapp wanted to be an artist, what did you have in your mind to be? Absolutely, yes, Howard. Oh yes, absolutely do that. You wanted to be Lot's wife? Just kidding, Jessica. Yeah, she made it out, but she looked back. Yeah, but what about all the other people? Would salt eventually disintegrate? Because then that would be feasible, that nothing would ever grow there. I have to get it right. Ah, like rich people. I'm sure just kidding. No, but you ever seen somebody who's like a lifelong student? Yeah, they all died. They didn't get turned into. Oh, oh, he didn't turn them all into pillar of salt. He burned them. Oh, I do need to research this. Not you guys are though. Okay, so only Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt. Oh, and they were burned. I mean, burn, yeah. The buildings still burn. Like if you put fire to them, they burn because they have sulfur in them. It's me. It's probably me. It's this phone. Like I'm saying, if anybody ever wants to help out with I can't, due to my circumstances, which are legit. I have to maintain my insurance, um, especially now. You know what I mean? So, uh, then when I heard that subscription for like 1 month was like $181, like, oh my God. So it's like, I am the type of person who knows, okay, so, and I have paid into the system my whole life, um, not my whole life, not when I was a baby, but, I worked since I was 15 and paid taxes. And they can keep going on with the bartender thing, but, I had other jobs and also paid taxes as a bartender. I contributed to disability, which is based on your income, not not you know any different. That's based on my own personal income. So the way they talk is like as if they don't understand the world, how things work in the world, or at least here. I like that name, don't you? Simca. I like it. I think if I had twins, I might give them Chloe and Zoe, but I'm never having twins, so we don't need to even name them. Um, it's funny to me. Sometimes I will, like, how Mandy was saying she doesn't feel 60. It's funny because sometimes I will, absolutely, Alan, absolutely. But still, I pay taxes. You know what I mean? I paid in. I worked for a very, very long time in the military. And I really need to maintain my insurance right now due to health circumstances. And um, ashamed of that. It's, you know, at 52 years old, when you finally have to, say, okay, well, fuck, you know, like as if I wouldn't rather have just kept going. Because what I was just gonna say was like how Mandy is that she didn't feel 60 was. It's funny sometimes you can forget what your age is, and you'll be thinking to yourself like, oh yeah, someday I'll do that. And you think to yourself like, fucking, I'm gonna do that like fucking when, I'm 55, you know. You just think you have all the time in the world. You do. People do. They don't like call a friend that they thought about. Oh, they think about them that day, and they don't call them because they think, I'll call them tomorrow. And sometimes, wow, ironically, tomorrow's too late. Um, I'll tell you, I'll watch that too because I saw that the Torah. That was pretty interesting. Um, I just, man, I just gotta keep doing what I do, which is just be me. Know that, what is it, like Dr. Seuss said? People that mind don't matter, and people that matter don't mind. A naked archaeologist. Did you really say? Now, why would he be naked? Right now? And I know for a fact Brittany does not wear fringes. So she is breaking one of the 613 commandments. Is he really naked? Yeah. Callie, are you watching the naked archaeologist? Just kidding. How nice of a conversation are we all having in here? I know, right? And I seriously, I will look everywhere, every once in a while. At one of their live streams. Man, man, they are nasty pieces of work, I'll tell you. No way, Coward, really. Did they really? They count every letter to see where it rains, it's sad. How amazing. Wow. Right, Nepatrish? Me too. Good way to put it. Talking about topics instead of people. I mean, it could only, like, go so much before you're like, alright, you guys aren't about, bitching about if they were bullied or getting rid of bullying. They are, like, they not, they write it on scrolls. The Torah is only written on scrolls.
So that much must be, that's so amazing. Not gonna lie to you guys. As for having a Wi-Fi hotspot and being able to look this up right now is really difficult for me. I really can't. But I would love to. I'd love to be able to look up what we're talking about right now, but I can't. I just can't do it. I can't afford it. I had to cut my budget. And I know they're gonna go, oh, SC, blah, 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 but I'm just trying to explain facts as opposed to having people say, you know, the thing is, like Mary be sitting over there playing my live stream word for word, not even um, stopping it or doing commentary or anything whatsoever. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'll just have to start doing my research beforehand, and I'll just have to make notes like I used to, unless I get a research assistant that will come up on the panel. They don't have to be live, but at least to be able to look things up at the click of a finger. Because as it stands, it's not within my budget, which I'm fine with living within budgets. But just letting you know that these motherfuckers be talking like as if I don't even pay $900 rent out of the very minimal that I worked for since I was 15 and desperately need, even though, okay, God, but thumbs upping will at least maybe make it so that while they're desperately trying to put out the message that you know, we aren't a channel that talks of topics that people can relate to, that, not everybody can relate to this person they're talking about, that person they're talking about, but a lot of people could probably relate to topics such as the ones that we are speaking of. So if we can at least work to getting, new people who will pop in and get interested in the topic and the conversation, and then that in itself is encouraging to me with the thumbs up. Encouragement does mean everything. I'm telling you, it means everything to everyone in the world. I've seen people discourage a child and how they've grown up, and I've seen a child that's encouraged as a child and how they've grown up. And you could grow up in the poorest of situations, but be encouraged. And, you know, it'll make all the difference in the world. You could grow up in a situation where your family is rich. So instead of giving you attention, they buy things they think. You might even ask them for those things. But perhaps, when they say, go to the library with your kids, yeah, pick out what they're watching and have a weekend where you guys, watch a whole entire season of Dawson's Creek or Lizzie McGuire even. Lizzie McGuire was good. Dawson's Creek was good. You know where your kid is, based upon their age. talk to them about. And I guarantee you, they'll be looking forward to the next, you go to the library and you rent it. I mean, shit, like, oh, definitely. Get something in common with them and don't make it be rap music. Rap music is fucked. So is a lot of music. I heard, I used to drive around with, Sesame Street playing, waiting for that little voice to sing back at me. I had a friend who drove around with, not that they're bad person, uh, Danzing, is that it? And it was like, oh, it was so cute today. Little so and so saying back at me, Mother, I can show you, whatever the words are. He's no longer alive. Took his own life. I thought it was just so fucked up that, like, even back then, I just thought it was so fucked up. Like, the little kid's back there, and he don't talk, he don't sing, just like any little baby, developing and shit. And what they're listening for music, it matters. Put aside your swearing music and your whatever the heck you're listening to, and look at the Sesame Street. This is the song, la 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 la, Elmo song, or the Rainbow Connection. I mean, let the first things they hear be beauteous, because we start their lives and what they hear and what they're going to say. I don't know. I just have hope for the world and for people. I refuse to lose it. I believe in us. I believe in us. Kindness is free. Encouragement means everything. Steel sharpens steel. I appreciate you guys. Quality over quantity, that's for sure. I bet he did, Patrish. I bet he did. You spent time with him. You enjoyed it. It's it's not fucking. These people, man, they be letting their kids watch and listen to, you know. That's awesome, Patrish. See? It matters. It matters. These people are so intent on trying to find something in myself and me, my life. And I find it a waste of their time. I feel bad for them. I feel bad for them. And I feel bad for the world that, man, like, come on, like, use your voice. Uh, you know? Thank you, Ashley. Appreciate it. You are too. You are too. Quality over quantity. That's all the time. You guys are definitely quality people. This is a quality conversation. I appreciate it. And united we stand, divided we fall. In peace, brother.